Good afternoon, beautiful beings of light. Welcome to the Wisdom Circle. I'm here today with Jean and Terry Lee and Wisdom Seeker Joan, Kigaru Spiritual Journeys, Terry Suzuki, and of course my buddy Heather. Welcome, ladies. Thank you for being here today. We're going to talk about Christ consciousness today. And funnily enough, Terry and I happened to talk to our friend Jesus yesterday, which we'll tell you about later on. But that was very exciting. How is everybody today?
Good.
And wonderful.
Yeah.
Good to hear it. Good
We've
to hear
been forward to this all weekend. I keep telling every show I was on, I'm like, and Monday we'll be on the Crone Zone, and I'm like, I wish it was today. I can't wait. I can't wait.
Oh, thank you so much. I love that. Hey, hi, Vibin. Nice to see you. And Laura Hammond. Davis, nice to see you. And you guys are all live streaming, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Fantastic. I'm going to make sure that I can see everybody's comments.
Yes.
Whoops. Fantastic. I'm going to make sure that I can see everybody's I love this. Comments. Thank you so much, phone. So for those of you that are new, welcome to the Wisdom Circle. My name's Priscilla with my co-host Heather, and we'd like to welcome our fellow circle members, Jean, Joan, Terry Lee, and Terry Suzuki. We gather together monthly as a discussion group of women regarding awakening, awareness, and ascension. Our goal is to share, support, and validate each other, as well as others who are following a spiritual path. We're here to share and discuss spirituality-related theories, experiences, information, and perspectives from diverse backgrounds and points of view. We hope to make you laugh, to feel included, and maybe gain some insight or perspective on whatever is happening to you on your spiritual journey. Our individual paths are unique. No two of us are the same. So please take what resonates with you and leave what doesn't. And remember, this is for entertainment and spiritual purposes only. Today is about Christ consciousness, and I am the very nervous host. All of our shows and our participants' details are in the notes on this video, on all of our videos, and a list of our future Wisdom Circle show dates, presenters, and subjects. So please check it out whenever you get a chance. And with that, I guess we'll get started on our presentation. And I have, where are the slides? At the stage. Great. So Christ consciousness. Christ consciousness is an awareness of the higher self as part of a universal system, the state of consciousness in which a person has found self-realization and unity with the divine. Now that's all of us. That just means that we finally realize that we're part of the one, part of the whole, that it's all connected. Now, this is the I am presence. And the reason I put this up here is that many of us don't understand what the I am is. And this little purple jar is us. That's our individual person here on earth. And we're surrounded by that violet flame. And that violet flame, for those that don't know, is a very high frequency vibration that basically it eliminates, transmutes negative karma, negative energies. It supposedly transmutes the lead out of negativity to the gold of divinity. I thought that was really a pretty saying. Transmutes the lead of negativity to the gold of divinity. Because when you think about it, gold is high vibing and lead is really heavy. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And then the white light around us is the white light from God, from source energy. That is the light that's always around us, always protecting us. And the little middle person, that's our higher self. And the one on top is the I am presence. Let me see. So does that make sense to you guys? Do you understand what that is? I'd never seen it before, and I thought it was really a good explanation of what the I am is, because it's just everything. It's
Well, and doesn't it mean that all of our souls are always seeking to rejoin the I am present?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we're here to experience and take that information and that experience back to the whole, and the whole being the whole of everything.
Yeah.
The whole of the multiverse. So yeah. Any other questions about that little photo? I thought it was a great show. So the quantum field, what is the field? And you'll see the relevance in a minute. Quantum physics has opened the door to a whole new vision for the mainstream to potentially embrace spirituality. David R. Hawkins, renowned author of The Map of Consciousness, explained, the field itself stands beyond time, space, or any known dimension, and instead includes all dimensions without being altered by them. It tells us the infinite field is omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient, I can't say that one, omniscient, and uniquely identifiable as the absolute by which all expressions of evolution or existence can be compared. Scientists today tell us that the entire three-dimensional world is all a projection. The world is a field of energies vibrating at different frequencies, and within that field there are various structures or forms which we interpret as a three-dimensional universe. The universe is a projection, and so in a sense, an illusory appearance behind which is reality, and the reality is God. I'm sorry, I think this slide went. So I'm going to say that one more time. This universe is a projection, and so in a sense, an illusory appearance behind which is reality, and the reality is God, Source, the One. Crystalline DNA. The frequency of Christ consciousness shines through crystalline DNA, allowing the experience of ascension in form. The shift from 3D consciousness to 5D awareness stems from the shift from carbon-based DNA to crystalline DNA. The activation of crystalline DNA represents the integration of levity, lightheartedness, peaceful self-awareness, wisdom, and the intuition of our higher consciousness. When our heart center expands to the vibration of Christ or unity consciousness, our DNA activates and spins in coherent toroidal formations, allowing it to radiate diamond solar plasma light codes. Mm-hmm. So what they're saying is we have crystalline DNA. It's in us. It's always there. It's innate in us. All we have to do is ignite it. And there's 5 aspects of Christ consciousness. Unification. Crystalline consciousness unifies the inner feminine and masculine energy. And when the soul is ready to ascend, a unification of inner polarities needs to take place. So that's basically, we have to balance our divine feminine and our divine masculine so that we're in balance. It seems to be about balance, doesn't it? Number 2 is sovereignty. As the inner unification takes place, the Christ consciousness eventually leads us to remember and embody our spiritual sovereignty. It means we have remembered who we are and the source from which we came. Next is unconditional love and true compassion. Crystalline consciousness evokes genuine compassion. Compassion emits crystalline energy to others without a concept of self, fear, or judgment. It cleanses the heart of all false identities and interpersonal agendas. The heart is fully activated and emits unconditional love regardless of what may be happening on a personal level. Then we have energetic neutrality. As the crystalline consciousness fully anchors in our being, our energy becomes stable and neutral. Extreme highs followed by lows disappear. One begins to feel stable and peacefully joyful without any external stimulations of joy and peacefulness. And fifth is the higher heart as a gateway to crystalline. As a gateway to the crystalline consciousness. When the higher heart chakra activates, the seed of crystalline consciousness ignites within us. The ignition leads to changes within our consciousness and DNA. The higher heart is also the keeper of the divine spark, which connects us to our I am presence. And I'd just like to stop there for a minute because I feel like a lot of us have already are working from our higher heart. And do you all feel that you have started coming from your higher heart and that things are more calm? You don't react as much?
And I feel like we all strive for those parts of the love.
The unconditional love.
We all seem to be striving towards that all the time.
And it seems like most of us are on that path to Christ consciousness, because when you think of the characteristics of Christ consciousness, faith, divinity, charity, oneness, humility, non-judgment, gratitude, love, compassion, patience, forgiveness, generosity, and peace. And excuse me, but our friend Jesus has just showed up.
Good.
You're going to have to give me a second here.
Well, I feel as though I am, it comes in waves, it ebbs and flows, it comes and goes. I have moments, I have understanding, I have a drive, I have perspective, I have a goal, but then my human selfishness and judgment comes back, and then I say, this is where I want to be. That's a lower vibration, but it like ebbs and flows. I'm coming in and out of it, but to know that it's possible, know that it's there, and to see it in others, and to see it in waves, I feel.
I think you described that perfectly.
Totally agree with you 100%.
100%. It ebbs and flows.
I just wanted to mention the power of recuperation, because this is the way it kind of works for me. I had some choice words for the Supreme Court this morning. When I first heard that, bam, and then I was like, okay, no.
I did the same
You're
thing.
not putting that energy there. And I shut my TV off and I went outside and I was calm, and I came back, I recovered. And I think there's a lot of power in that. I think there's a lot of energy in that for the one source, one force, the cosmic, the Christ consciousness. And I think it's a very powerful thing, because that's part of, I want to say magic, but it's part of our journey here on planet Earth that is so different than so many other existences that souls have chosen to have over throughout the universe. That planet Earth will work you like nothing else, children. And we're here and we're still discovering and feeling and growing. I think it's amazing.
I think that recovery thing is really interesting, because if you think about how you would have recovered 5 years ago, it would have been a hell of a lot longer.
Yes. And in fact, for me anyway, my total reactions are completely different than what they would have been. Yeah, good.
I think I have a knee-jerk reaction and then I recover.
Yeah,
that's just my personality. I'm with you. My knee-jerk reaction this morning was to burst into tears. I was just devastated.
The recovery time keeps getting shorter.
And I think that's the main thing. That's trying to live that Christ consciousness, trying to embody all those things, for sure. There's a real lack of all these characteristics of Christ consciousness this morning on the television.
It was a test.
I do believe that we'll be just fine come next year. things will change, and that things are going to move forward in a much more progressive way.
Yeah.
And this may be a case of giving enough rope to hang themselves.
Oh, it's, yeah, I totally agree with that. And you have to understand too, I'm a Libra, scales. So I'm a flag
We like
waving
balance.
Libra. So I react. And then now they're teaching me how to just, the energy you want to
Let
send out.
everybody else.
Okay, our friend is here.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he's telling us not to lose faith,
Mhm.
and that he found it amusing that I thought of, well, first of all, I have to say, when Terry talks to Jesus, she sees him in flannel shirt and Carhartts. Is that how you say it?
Huh?
With what? You're muted, I think.
Sorry. Yeah, black and red flannel shirt, Carhartts, and some work boots.
Which
I mean,
sent
he
me
was a
into
carpenter.
hysterics, because I immediately thought of Monty Python's I'm a Lumberjack. I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay.
Yeah,
So
I remember.
our friend thinks that is hilarious that I compared him to the lumberjacks. But his love and compassion for humanity is just incredible. And like he said, he was here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I was here. I understand your pain. I understand your anxiety. The Christ consciousness is in each and every one of you. It's in your heart. It's activated by your love and compassion for yourself and others. Please know that you are loved beyond comprehension, that your guides and angels are here for you. Those of you that have incarnated at this time are important to the Christ consciousness and the crystalline DNA energy activation across the planet that helps Mother Earth ascend as well as humankind. He's telling me to quit being so nervous. It's okay.
You're doing a great job, Priscilla.
Believe in your faith. Believe in the truth. Believe in unconditional love and unity consciousness. You are leading the planet in that direction, exactly where it needs to be. We are on path. We are on the highest timeline. No, I am here with each and every one of you. I wish you could feel the love I'm feeling right now. It's overwhelming. And his last words are, be at peace.
Yeah.
And he's stepping back with love, lots of love for all of us. Yeah. Ooh, sorry.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I
Thank
get
you.
verklempt
Thank you.
from that amount of love.
Mhm.
Can someone else take it for a moment?
I have to say that I actually had to thank some people that I did private readings for who asked me about lifetimes that they spent when Christ was on the planet. And in tuning in, it was so beautiful and overwhelming. It was like being in a movie almost, although he didn't appear as they portrayed him in the movies with crystal blue eyes.
Go hard.
Skin.
Yeah.
But that stuck with me, and I always felt that when I passed, I was going to turn back into that little girl that loved Sunday school in that little tiny dress with her little tiny patent leather shoes and run up the path and jump into Jesus's arms. I mean, that's the kind of love. It's that tender, tender love. And I have to tell you, I spent a little time before the show, and he wanted me to remind you all that indeed he was, for his time, a rebel. His message was that of a rebel. Love your enemies. Think of the people in that time where they're like, love your enemies. You know, these were people who had to survive and fight. And those were leaders of the day, were fighters and strict rules. And when he brought that message of love your enemies, pray for those who hurt you. You know, that is a powerful message that we're all carrying with us today. So I just wanted to say that because he wants to know, you to know, that the power that we have is peaceful power.
It is. It's all about
And
love.
I wanted to let everybody know that at some time or other, you have probably experienced his love.
Oh, yeah.
I never even if you don't think it. For instance, when my first husband died, I went into the mortuary because I need to see him. So I hadn't. And they left me alone. And all I can tell you was there was a blinding light. And even though he was dead in front of me, I knew I was loved.
Wow.
Because it was so encompassing.
Yeah.
I could not see anything. You could just feel light.
Beautiful.
I was not on this path at that time. And so if that can happen to me before I even started doing this, I feel like every person who listens out there or doesn't listen has been encompassed in love at some time. If they think back, they'll know when it was that all of a sudden they just knew that everything would be okay and that they were loved. So it's always there.
Yeah.
For everybody.
When I was reading with Priscilla yesterday, and we invited Jesus to come and talk to us, one of the things that he said that really it sticks with me. It's not the first time he has said this to me, but he always wants people to know that, he was a man inhabiting the Christ consciousness. He's the only one that could take it from birth to death, and he really wants us to not fear him or hold him in awe. He often says, actually, I've heard other people say, he's like the best big brother you ever had. He kind of wants us to think of us like that. But the thing that really, though, stood out yesterday was the grace involved, because he said, I did it, and I know how hard it is. In other words, he was saying, I know everything you go through. I know how the disappointment affects you. I know how sadness affects you. I know how when you're not doing so well and that you're angry and have rage. He says, I had to experience all of that. Mm-hmm. So he knows how hard it is. He knows that we're not going to be perfect.
Yeah.
And I really loved that part, that he giving us grace.
Well, I love the way that he appears to you in the flannel shirt it takes away that awe factor, and you can see him as a brother, not as a ascended master.
Yeah. But
another thing I remember that he said yesterday was about religion. He said, I'm surprised, but not surprised. Remember that?
Right.
That religion took it where it did, because he had nothing to do with religion. The religion was built up around him after he died. He had nothing to do with Christianity. He was a Jew. But when he said that, it was like, oh, yeah. Yeah. But he made it very clear he's with each and every one of us every single day. He has been one of us. He understands one of us. You don't have to be religious to call upon him. He wants us to call upon the grid. He talked about the Metatron's grid around the planet, the opalescent Christ consciousness crystalline grid that is around our planet, and literally said, imagine yourself plugging in. Take your finger physically, if you have to, plug into that grid and download whatever it is you need to download, whatever information, whatever grace, whatever help you need. Just stick your finger into that crystalline grid. It's available to each and every one of us. And I thought that was a great thing to do, because you can really visualize it when you're putting your finger up. Right?
Yes.
That's beautiful.
I think he also said that, you know, the Christ consciousness is in our DNA, which again, when I work with the Akashic Records, I say that's in our DNA, but what I also mean, it's in our quantum field. So I do think where you got your information on the slides is correct, that this is part of our quantum field. And when he's really saying you can just stick your finger into it, he just means we have access all
Absolutely.
the time to
all
that.
the time, each and every one of us, very easily, because we're all part of that force, that grid, that all of it, each and every one of us, all the way down to our DNA. We're a part of the grid, a part of Jesus, a part of Source. And that made me very happy yesterday. I really thought it was amazing. And I feel like his presence is going to be around me a lot more than I ever expected from that. So thank you for letting me meet Jesus yesterday. And McKeezel So, well, that went quick, ladies. Any more conversation? I am out of paper.
There's some great comments out here in the chat.
Has anybody been?
Well, I kind of wanted to share a little bit about what I was understanding, that Christ consciousness is perhaps not a person. Perhaps it is a energy, a frequency, a something that is universal and is, you know, throughout the multiverse. And it is far more than just one person personifying it. However, this one person did have all of these heart virtues and ways of teaching this consciousness in an embodied form. And this is why we call it the Christ consciousness. But it is, the consciousness is existing before that, after that, and all realms, all dimensions. And it is an energy that is a consciousness. It is a what we would call like heart virtues, like the compassion, the forgiveness, the unconditional love, the service, the unity, the cooperation, the, you know, helping each other, and all of these things is what I feel the Christ consciousness sort of represents. Yes. And more. And because I think a lot of people who may have had trauma around the religious, they don't want to go with just that one, incarnation of Christ consciousness. But he was a leader, just like the Buddha, just like Gandhi, just like so many others have this same Christ consciousness. Mother Teresa, there's so many, and these people are like, far beyond, and what they are able to achieve and what they're able to carry out for, millions and billions of people following them and watching them. And it's really beautiful. And for all of us to work towards that unity, work towards that cooperation, work towards that non-judgment and compassion, unconditional love, working towards that, being reminded of it, and recognizing it when we see it, I think that's really important.
That's beautiful. And, we kind of chatted a bit before the show, that cosmic consciousness, that's what we're talking about here. And when my guides gave me a specific channeled message that said, when a soul is created, it is given a unique contribution to the cosmic consciousness of the universes. So it's a very, very, very powerful thing we're discussing here. And, whether you call it Christ consciousness or universal mind or as Jean said, the core of it is understanding that we're part of something far, far greater than we can even imagine and far, far more powerful than we can even understand. And that's why when you feel that love, it comes through in a way that's totally unique, whether, you're getting a message from Buddha or any other source. You'll be directed to a message or a quote or a book or something like that, and you'll know. I love Paul Selig, Book of Mastery, and I use this all the time. I know who I am. I know what I am. I know how I serve. I am here. I am here. I am here.
Oh, that's lovely.
And that just gives me so much power when I feel torn about things. I'm just like, I'm not going to worry about that. I know who I am.
And we all talk about how great it is, but when you think of it, we're all part of the whole. How many of us are making that whole? Think about how great that's got to be.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
Amazing.
The very first time I ever saw Jesus in a reading, and this talks about that cosmic consciousness, the fact that this is meant for everybody, not necessarily Christianity. I was reading a Hindu lady, and her son who was on the other side, had come to honor her and to touch her feet. The guides had kind of set her down on this wonderful setting and was honoring her. And then Jesus showed up beside me. And it's like I'm down there kneeling at her feet, watching all this going on. And there he shows up and he's washing her feet. And I'm like, oh my God, Jesus is here. Jesus is here. And I'm trying to look at him. I'm like, I'm giving him side eye because I'm like, I'm afraid if I look too hard, maybe he'll go away, or something. But I want to look at him. I want to lay my eyes on him. And everything went fine. But then the next time I saw him in a different reading, he laughed at me. He's like, I'm not just going to go away. And, kind of like that was a little too much fangirl over the top there.
Well, how can you not be? How can you not be a fangirl? I mean, when he came yesterday, I was like in awe. But he so puts you at ease with the flannel shirt, and his demeanor is so big brother. Really big. And I don't mean big brother in a bad way. I mean big brother in a kind way. Kind, loving, supportive big brother. And
a reliable guy.
Yeah, a reliable sort of dude. So I like that. And, I have to admit, Christ consciousness, anything that had to do with the word Christ always triggered me because of religion. I grew up Episcopalian, and like Terry Lee, I loved Sunday school. I even taught Sunday school because it was all about Jesus and love and compassion and all those things. And then you go up into the big church and it's hellfire and damnation. And they just never connected the two for me. So I just stayed with that Jesus that I knew. But because it was a religious experience, I've always been totally turned off by the words God, Jesus, or anything like that. And over the since COVID, I guess, I've come to terms with those things really not having anything to do with religion, and that it's all about ascension, and all about the whole, and all about love. And change it.
So I think that when he said, follow me, he didn't mean worship me. He meant do as I do. And it was a teaching. It was an emulation of how it can be and what we're capable of, and what it means to be of service to each other and to be compassionate to one another. I think that, you know, it was just so misunderstood when he said, "Follow me." People took it as worship, and he never wanted that. And I think that
No.
that's what he. Mhm.
I agree. He's not about worshiping him. He acted like he was really surprised at how it blew up out of proportion from what the initial intent was.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's like telling somebody in a circle a secret and how it changes when it gets to the end of that circle. It's a completely different statement than what you said in the first place. So it just makes sense.
Even some of the things that survived in the Bible, it was how it was presented to us. You know, he said, "I and my Father are one, just as you and I are one." Well, that's not the way we were presented with it. Like,
No, not at all.
You're not like Jesus and God one. You might be one with Jesus, but you're not one with God. And Jesus was saying, we are all one.
Right.
All one. And I love that. Every once in a while, I'll catch a memory from teaching and go, "Oh, well, that little tiny part was right. It was just presented in the way that intended to trap us into servitude to an organization." Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
that was never the intent. It was all about sovereignty and freedom and love.
Yeah.
So can we think of some public figures that might embody the Christ consciousness and somebody who we can see in their eyes the service and the unconditional love and the you know, it's about unity. It's about what we can do for one another and not what what I can do for myself. I kind of think of, and I'm not saying these people are perfect, but I think that Princess Diana really held a lot of that compassion, that unconditional love, the need for service, and the need to bring in public, everyday people in close to her and that energy that she was surrounding. I thought that was really something different, and that's why millions and billions of people love her still today. I think that she possessed some of that.
Under very difficult circumstances, she did that.
Absolutely.
I would have to say I was fortunate enough to see the Dalai Lama. He came to our valley, and I was highly impressed with the energy that he held.
You're so lucky
and communicated to everyone. Not only that beautiful love and spirituality, but the humanity of us all. You know,
he's adorable. I love the way he laughs.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's true, but I heard that he's perhaps getting close to transitioning. So we all want to send good energy and vibes to him. I don't know if that's true. I haven't validated it yet, but I read that. But yeah, and he spoke to so many. He spoke to so many who needed to have that different angle, that different understanding, those who were searching. And I just really honor him for that.
He's a lovely human being. Who else can you think of? I was going to say Barack Obama.
I was going to say Barack Obama too. I just feel like he really does his best to embody that Christ consciousness, to be everybody's leader, not just the people he cited.
And when you think about it, it's not just individuals, because when I thought about it, what I thought about was the small kids. Most kids,
little kids,
help until they're taught not to. But most kids will be there to help.
Oh,
that's what I found out when I was teaching. It didn't matter if there was a limitation for them or a handicap or something, but they were all wanting to help one way or another to a certain point. And then when they got to a certain age, it kind of shifted.
Yeah.
But that's because they're taught.
Yep. We're all programmed from birth, without a doubt. I feel fortunate that the younger generation is not caught up in a lot of the stuff that we had to endure at our crone age, that the things that we grew up with, I'm hoping the generations below us will see through that. And it seems like the younger people that I know that are in their early 20s, they have a much different outlook on the world than we did. And they are full of love and compassion for each other. And they don't care what color you are. They don't care what sex you are or what you want to be. They don't care. It's not important. So I think there's hope in that.
Mm-hmm.
I have to point out that Lori Hunsinger commented Alexei Navalny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Another good example.
Oh, right.
Alexa.
That is a good
Standing up.
example.
Standing up for the people under very difficult circumstances. Yeah. Oh, you're
Joan.
muted, Joan.
I can't hear you, Joan. You're muted. You're unmuted, but you're not talking.
Oh,
no. Have we got a lip reader in the in the group?
You can come back if you need to go out, or just change your headphones.
Mic. Yeah, change your mic.
Change your mic.
Go into the StreamYard settings. When you change mics, you have to change it in the StreamYard settings. It happens to me all the time.
Oh,
Does it really?
Yes.
interesting.
It kicks these out, and then when I come back, I have to reconnect them. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought it was just me, but because I have different headsets. I have this headset, I have these headset, and then I have a third headset. So it just can't
Mine
keep
happens with cameras.
right.
It switches my camera.
I'll throw out another kind of soul that I've encountered out there that I feel definitely kind of has that Christ consciousness, and that's
Cool.
Saint Francis of Assisi.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
sure.
Yeah, he also gives.
I talk to him a lot.
Yeah, and he's so humble. He I didn't exactly know who he was at first. I mean, I kind of sensed it a little bit, but not completely. And I'm like, could you give me your name? Because I was hoping he would say, yes, St. Francis of Assisi. And he said, oh, you know what? Just call me Frankie.
Oh, no.
I'm telling you, they want us to be more approachable.
Well,
Yeah.
very much like our guides, and I've
Mhm.
always said my guides are sassy. I mean, sometimes the most powerful messages they give to me are sassy, and they know I'll hear
I can
that.
see you having sassy guides. Absolutely.
Telling you.
I think that's beautiful and appropriate.
Yeah.
Well, it gets my attention. That's the point. But yeah,
So-
there's so many we can call on,
There really are.
and that's the way it's intended to be.
And I think
Mhm.
we're all on the path. And I think, according to what we've been learning and been hearing from our guides and Jesus, as well as the others, is that we just have to trust, surrender,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
and be
Yeah.
love.
Yeah.
That's
Um,
it.
Another one that's coming to mind for me is Wayne Dyer, and I saw him
Oh, yeah.
right around the time when he was sort of, really big, a big author, and had a lot of money and was doing a lot of talks and traveling everywhere. And one day he walked out in a linen pantsuit without any shoes, and he said he sold all of his homes. He gave away
Yeah.
to charity all of his riches and only kept the things that he needed to get through day to day. And he says, I feel more freedom than I ever have when I had all that to manage and all that to be worried about. And he said that it's a practice that is non-attachment, the ability to walk in this earth and to give freely and to receive generously, that give and take that it was very profound. I remember it was the moment that it happened, and I was really confused, first of all. And then, as I thought about it, it just made so much more sense to me that the things that he
Who was this?
acquired,
I missed who you said it was.
Wayne Dwyer,
Wayne
or
Dwyer.
Wayne Dyer, Wayne
Dyer.
Dyer,
Dyer. Wayne Dwyer.
Wayne Dyer.
He
Mhm.
did that. I didn't realize that.
He
Mm.
gave
Yeah, he did.
everything away.
He
Gave
did.
everything away and donated and gave it to charity. Did not wear shoes in as symbolic of giving
Mhm.
away all of his riches, all of his possessions, all of his, I'm sure he still had a house. I'm sure he still drove a car, but he lived without, without
The
collecting all
gazillions
of
he
these
didn't
things.
need.
Mhm. Right.
Yeah, I was thinking as you were talking, and Red Skelton popped in my head. And I remember his shows, and I kept thinking he's the nicest man,
Mhm.
because he would talk to the audience afterwards, and he was always so sweet. And I'm going, I think even for movie stars, he was one of the people that people really liked, because he's just a nice example of who he should be.
Thank you. That's a perfect lead into what I'm being led to say. And that is, you all out there, all of us here, we all channel this beautiful cosmic Christ, Buddha, Dalai Lama consciousness, this consciousness, even when you open a door for someone going into the grocery store, when there's an older person that needs help and you recognize it, you're not afraid to go over and say, may I help you? I'd be delighted, please. When you donate, when you pray, when this beautiful group that we all have here online, when you pray for one another, when you uphold one another, that's it. That's the very thing that's working inside you. You don't have to be famous. And oftentimes the most powerful of us are out there, going to work and coming home and feeding kids and buying groceries and doing our thing, man. But if you're able to dial in that consciousness and serve someone else, it's a beautiful thing.
And it's so easy to just to smile at somebody at the grocery store or hold the door open for them. Those little things add up so much.
Say
And
hello.
it's just, that is unconditional love, and it's going straight to the cosmic consciousness, adding to the grid.
Yeah.
All those little things that we can do. It's all.
If nothing else, it changes the atmosphere.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Raises the vibration of the cosmic consciousness of the universes.
Exactly.
And I love how you keep saying universes.
That's what they said. Because I went,
It is
universe?
a
I was writing
multiverse.
it down, and they're like, no, universes. Okay, ooh, got it.
It's true.
I love that.
There are so many.
I love that Hypnicity said Mr. Rogers, because I absolutely adore him.
Mr. Rogers.
And Lori said it too.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. I mean, absolutely. Yeah. Spreading that respect and love for one another. Very nice.
Living ourselves.
A whole generation of children watch Mr. Rogers and learned that from him.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I know my daughter watched Mr. Rogers every day. And she was
I learned from Mr.
Rogers. Sesame Street and Mr. Rogers, they were the ones.
Oh, yeah.
And they really do teach
Captain Kangaroo.
Christ consciousness.
Oh.
They all teach Christ consciousness if you pay attention.
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah, they did.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look, you see it. If you don't, you just don't even think about it. But if you are conscious of it and start looking at people, you can see it happening.
Mm-hmm. It's very powerful.
Try to be aware.
Mm-hmm.
I love Priscilla. The first picture you showed us, where that you showed us the little bit of gold in us, then going up to our higher self, and eventually the I am. I love that, because when I first started doing this work, that's how I kind of saw God in each of us as a little piece of gold. A little piece of gold.
Nice. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And
that purple flame is a great assistance in meditation if you meditate with that golden flame around you to help transmute your anxiety, it transmutes karma and negativity. So I have never personally used the purple flame, but it's definitely going into my meditation after reading about it and the power of the purple flame. I know I'm probably the last one to know about the purple flame. And I love the white light coming straight from God, straight from source. It's surrounding us at all times in our higher self. And I have also, I wanted to know the difference between the I am and the higher self, and what's the oversoul and what's a soul and all of that. So I think we're going to be doing a show on the Crone Zone to try to explain that a little bit better for everybody.
Some terminology is, interchangeable, and it is difficult to try and grasp when there's so many different terms for the same thing.
Yeah, and a lot of them are different religions call it this, and so. But I think this is perfect. I think this is a perfect little chart to show us. And there we have our God up there in the right-hand corner, shining his light on us.
We have so much to explore. We're just beginning. We're just getting into the teeniest bit of it. I'm always told it's beyond your wildest imagination, and that's often from souls on the other side.
I'm told that, and I'm also told that when we're meditating, dream big, dream outside the box, let go of the human box and dream as big as you can, because even then you're only hitting a little tiny bit of what the potential is, because the potential is unlimited.
I think starting with our own authenticity is a good starting point, because it's something where we can control and we understand and we can be ourselves and be vulnerable and be brave to be and to be in our own authentic true self. And then when we are this authentic self, it vibrates out and draws authenticity towards us. And it also allows us to recognize in others that vibration of Christ consciousness, or that vibration of unconditional love. I mean, don't you just know when somebody is like a light worker? You're like, hey, you.
Oh, yeah. I did that just recently at a drum circle, solstice. And this lady just kind of starts talking, and I'm like, you're speaking my language. And then I said, I need to get with you, and we had lunch. We just had lunch, and it's like, it's so important to reach out and unite with each other and support each other. And you recognize it. Very well put, Jean.
Yeah, and this community that we're a part of is just spreading that light and love everywhere. Yeah. It's wonderful. Hypnicity says she sees RFK as a light worker. Interesting.
Junior.
I don't see that myself.
I don't either. I'm sorry. But that's okay.
I was trying to figure out, Leah, the box is a bag, must be fluid if we want to upgrade like our bodies.
The box is...
I'm not understanding that one.
Got me on that one too. Yeah. Oh, okay.
But anyway, ladies, thank you so much for being here and helping me with this. It was an absolute delight to actually meet Jesus in person for me.
Nice.
That was incredible. But like you said, Christ consciousness is not about Jesus. It's about love. It's about the energy. It's about incorporating that into our lives. And it has nothing to do with religion. And we all are part of it. We all have that Christ consciousness within us. So everybody in the chat, thanks so much for your comments and being here today. And ladies, You all are all terrific. And I'm sorry we lost Joan.
I know.
Joan.
What's everybody doing future?
And who's next month? Does anybody remember? Who's
Not
next
me.
month?
Last night.
I can't remember either. I think it's
August is Wisdom Seeker Joan, and
I was going to say it
September
must
is
be Joan.
August is Joan, and September is Kigaru,
all right.
and then October is Pure Visionary. Yep.
That's me, Libra.
So,
My month.
I have Ellen Edmonston coming on at 6 p.m. Eastern today on my channel, and we're going to be talking about the ascension, the awakening, the vibration, and the awareness of our true, authentic self, and a little bit more of these conversations. She's an amazing author and a good friend of mine, and she is a medium, and she does soul artists, soul drawings. Art portraits, soul portraits.
can
And-
one of you moderators please put in the link for SunPsychic Jean? I would really appreciate it. And that's at what time? 6 p.m. Eastern tonight? She sounds
It
fascinating.
is. It is.
In fact, if you guys would put in all the links for Terry and
Yes,
Jean
please.
and Joan, I'd appreciate it. I'm not sure if there's anybody here that
Awesome.
has that, but anyway, thank you all for being here. I think it was a great conversation. I appreciate your all's input every month. I really enjoy getting together with the six of us. I think
Oh,
it's
it's very
fantastic.
special.
It really is. And you're all very special ladies, and I appreciate each and every one of you for your contribution to the planet, to humanity, as well as to my channel. Our channel, Heather. Our channel.
And I wanted to remind everybody that wanted to see our show tomorrow that it's at a later time.
Oh my God. Our first show at 6 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night.
I saw that.
And
Okay.
it's on crystalline DNA. So it's kind of
But it's
more on the same subject in a way,
but not.
but not.
Interesting. Okay.
Right. And then next weekend we have Diana Bowles on Saturday. But our shows will now be at 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Mountain, and 3. Is that right? Have I got that right, or have I screwed that
Yes.
up?
No,
No, it's 8 o'clock. I'm sorry, it's 8 o'clock
Their
Eastern,
time, 6 hours.
6 Mountain.
Yeah.
It's confusing, so stay tuned. I'm sure you guys will figure it out as soon as we do.
Maybe sooner.
Anyway, till next month, you guys, thank you so much for being here. We love you, and we'll see you next month. Bye, ladies. Thanks again.
Bye.
Bye.